Can you hear me now, Georgina?
Yeah, I can hear you very well. And please call me Jorgy. No problem with that.
Georgie. Okay. All right.
All right. So I'll take an awkward pause and then I can start the episode. And then after recording it, I'll tell you the details about the publishing, the title, and all that.
Sure. But before that, Georgie, how did you find me? I'm curious.
Through Instagram, actually. I found you through Instagram through Mike. No, was it
Okay.
Mike? No, somebody else, I think. I saw you on somebody's stories, and then I was like, interesting. I need to check that profile. And then I went there, and I'm like, even more interesting. I need to have him over.
We'll see about that.
All
All
right.
right.
So how long you've been doing getting into motorsport? Like what was the age that you got into this?
Yeah, the age I got into motorsport. So the dream started when I was 10 years old. And I saw a scale model race car when I was 10 at the mall. It was an old Le Mans Mobil 1 Porsche car, and it just fascinated me. And then by the time I was 13, I'd read every single racing book. I wanted to be a racing driver, a professional, and then by 14, 15, I was driving my parents' cars in the mountains when they were asleep, pushing it down the driveway in neutral, and then I think 17 was when I first got my first one to a racing school, and it wasn't even cars, it was a go-kart school. And
Okay.
that was at Sonoma Raceway. Yep. And
And then here we are.
yeah, go ahead.
And then here we are.
And then here we are. Well, there's so many twists and turns in between, just like everyone else's story.
Then I think I should be asking that as a question for you.
Yeah, if you want stories, Georgina, I can give you a lot of stories.
All right, so let me take an awkward pause and then I can stop if you're ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the new season of Jorgy's Stripping the Dipping podcast. I'm your host, F1 Black. Last week it was a real honour to interview Klara Kowalczyk, racing in the WSK Supermasters Series at just 12 years old. This week's guest, Ken Fukuda, sold everything and re-entered the world of motorsport at 26. As Ken admits, his motorsport journey had some twists and turns. So buckle up and get ready to hear them. Here's Ken with Jorgy.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Jorgy's Stripping the Dipping, and this is your once in a blue moon co-host, Jorgy herself. So I promise you next time it's going to be F1 Black and Denzi who's going to be hosting this, so bear with me for this episode because I actually want to do really want to do interview this guy right here whom I have today. So without further ado, let me warmly welcome Mr. Ken Fukuda from all the way from US. How are you, Ken?
I'm well, Georgie. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay, so I'm jumping straight away to the question. Who is Ken without a title?
Who is Ken without a title? Man, I've never been asked that before. A dreamer.
A dreamer. Can you tell me, so the question goes to you for the earliest motorsport memories. Like, I actually asked these questions off the record before, but I'm gonna ask you now on record right now because it's very interesting and there are so many twists and turns as you mentioned. So I'm a very curious person, so I need to get to know that. So yes, how did you get into motorsport? Like, what was the age that you got into it, and how did you end up here?
Sure. I was 10 years old and I was at the mall and I saw a scale model race car. It was an old Porsche 911 Le Mans car, the Mobil 1 sponsored liveried car. And I just saw that, and and everything just changed after I saw that. I knew cars just became so much sexier to me, and I've never seen anything like that. That sleek and the aerodynamics, and then I told myself I'm going to drive one of those one day, and that was at 10 years old. And then, you know, you try to learn as much as you can about racing. My parents, they're not so much racers. My father, he worked at a nonprofit, had to do with farming. My mom was a kindergarten teacher, and so I kind of hid the dream from them my whole life. And then by the time I was 13, I had read every single racing book, and then 14, 15, I'm, like other racing drivers, I later found out, I'm pushing my parents' cars